120 warships. That's how many Iranian naval assets were destroyed or disabled. 2 carrier strike groups, 8 Aegis destroyers, over $40 billion in firepower. And somehow, the Strait of Hormuz was still closed. No American ships lost. No major engagements failed. Every major Iranian vessel wiped out. And yet, 3,200 ships sat frozen in place. Oil tankers, cargo vessels, entire supply chains stopped. The global economy bleeding tens of billions every single week. So here's the question that doesn't make sense. How do you win every battle and still lose control of the battlefield? Because what happened next forced the most powerful navy on Earth to call in a 50-year-old airplane they were trying to retire. And that's where this story gets insane. The Strait of Hormuz looks wide on a map, 21 nautical miles across. But that number lies, because the actual shipping lane? Just 6 miles. 2 miles in, 2 miles out, and a narrow buffer in between. That's it. A tiny corridor where the entire world's energy supply has to pass. Everything outside of it, hostile water. Now imagine trying to control that space, with thousands of unknown contacts moving at high speed, because that's exactly what the Navy faced. But not from warships, from something far more dangerous. They didn't come in fleets. They came in swarms. Over 1,500 fast attack craft. Small, cheap, fast. Some barely bigger than civilian boats. Fiberglass hulls, low radar signature, speeds pushing 70 knots, some even faster. And every single one armed. Missiles, rockets, heavy machine guns. Individually, not a threat. But together, they don't fight fair. They attack in groups of 30, sometimes 50 at once, from every direction. Overwhelming sensors, forcing impossible decisions, because you're not just targeting enemies, you're targeting shapes in the water, mixed in with thousands of real civilian vessels. Fishing boats, cargo ships, tankers. One wrong move, and everything escalates. And that's where the real problem begins, because this wasn't just a battle. It was a math problem. Every shot the Navy fired was losing them money. An SM-6 missile costs over $5 million. The boat it's targeting? Maybe $50,000. Do the math. That's a 100-to-1 loss every time you pull the trigger. Harpoon missiles? Too expensive. Too slow to lock onto tiny, fast-moving targets. Deck guns? Too slow for swarm attacks. CFW systems? Burn through ammo in seconds, then leave a gap. And the Navy's primary strike jet? The F/A-18 Super Hornet. Too fast. At 500 knots, targets blur past in seconds. There's no time to confirm who's hostile and who's not. In a crowded shipping lane, that hesitation is everything. Even the MH-60 Seahawk helicopter, built for precision, just couldn't keep up. Too few weapons, too little time on station, too vulnerable. And suddenly, the most advanced naval force in history had all the firepower in the world, but no efficient way to use it, because every tool they had was built for a different war. Open ocean, big targets, long distances. Not this. Not a 6-mile corridor filled with chaos. And that's when they realized they didn't need something more advanced. They needed something different. Something built for this exact kind of fight. Something no one expected. The answer wasn't new. It wasn't futuristic. It wasn't even wanted. It was the A-10 Warthog, an aircraft designed in the 1970s, built for a war that never happened, and nearly retired just months earlier. But everything about it was perfect for this. Because the A-10 isn't built around speed, it's built around a gun, a massive 30mm cannon firing 65 rounds per second, each round powerful enough to tear through armored targets. Against fiberglass boats, it's overkill. And that's exactly the point, because suddenly, the math changed. Completely. Instead of firing a $5 million missile, you're firing bursts that cost a few $1,000s. Instead of one target at a time, you're shredding entire attack lines in seconds. Instead of running out of missiles, you're staying in the fight. And that's just the beginning. Because the A-10 carries more than just its cannon. Precision-guided rockets, infrared missiles, all significantly cheaper than naval interceptors. all designed for exactly this kind of target. Fast, small, numerous. But the real advantage wasn't the weapons. It was how the aircraft flies. The A-10 is slow, and that's why it wins. At around 300 knots, it gives pilots time to see, time to think, time to decide. Because in a battlefield filled with civilian ships, identification is everything. A jet flying overhead at high speed sees flashes. An A-10 pilot sees details, weapons mounted on decks, movement patterns, intent. And that changes everything. Because now you're not guessing, you're choosing. And while other aircraft burn fuel racing in and out, the A-10 stays, circling, watching, waiting, for nearly 2 hours at a time. It doesn't rush, it controls the space. But even that wasn't enough on its own, because this fight needed something bigger, not just a weapon, but a system. What happened next has never been done before at this scale. 3 branches of the US military, operating together over a single 6-mile corridor, each one covering the other's weakness. Above the fight, A-10's hunting swarms, eliminating threats at range. Below them, Army Apache helicopters, flying low, picking off anything that slips through. Close range, precise, relentless. And behind it all, the Navy, holding the line, saving its most expensive weapons for the threats only they can stop. Missiles, aircraft, high-speed targets, everything layered, everything coordinated. And suddenly, the equation flipped. Before this, the Navy was burning through its arsenal, missiles disappearing, costs stacking, a strategy designed to be overwhelmed. But now, cheap threats were met with cheap solutions. High-end weapons were saved for high-end targets. Efficiency replaced exhaustion. And the entire strategy Iran built collapsed because it was designed for one assumption, that the Navy would fight alone. They never planned for this. They never planned for the sky to turn against them. And by the time they realized it, it was already over. So now we come back to the original question. Why did the most powerful Navy in history need help? Not because it was weak, but because it was built for a different battlefield. Deep ocean, long-range warfare, high-value targets. But the Strait of Hormuz is none of those things. It's tight, crowded, unpredictable, a place where expensive solutions fail fast, and simple ones win. Which leads to a bigger question. Because the A-10 won't be here forever, retirement is already planned. And when it's gone, what replaces it? Drones? New aircraft? Or something we haven't seen yet? Because one thing is clear. The next war won't be won by the most advanced weapon. It'll be won by the one that fits the fight. And this time, that weapon just happened to be a 50-year-old plane with a gun bigger than a car. If that changed how you see modern warfare, you already know what to do. And tell me, did the Warthog earn it? If this kept you on the edge of your seat, subscribe for more real-world military breakdowns. Like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.